All right, so it's happening in San Francisco now. San Francisco to set new rules for e-bike scooters powered by lithium-ion batteries. We knew this was coming. It's been happening across the state in California. In New York City, they got a task force done by the FDNY to be able to combat this. They basically can do knocking on your door in your business, check what you have, write you a citation, or close your business down. Like the previous video I linked in the description below, where I'm talking about the crackdowns on batteries and how they're combating it in New York City. With that being said, let's get straight into this story. They ended up trying to copyright me on the last one we did, and I ended up winning, which is pretty funny because this is just commentary over it. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it.
Electric scooter or skateboard in San Francisco, the way you charge or store those devices is about to change.
Yeah, today the city's Board of Supervisors voted to create safety standards for some of those popular products, the ones powered by lithium-ion batteries. Will it help keep you and your family safe and build a better Bay Area?
ABC 7 News reporter Leanne Melendez is here to explain what that will look like. Leanne.
Yeah, and I've noticed here in the city, which is great, more and more of those e-bikes, especially families.
Yeah.
They're kids, they take them to school, but you know, not all batteries are created equal. The problem is that the lithium batteries, if they are damaged, refurbished, or if they come from a manufacturer that is not regulated, then we have a problem. New York has had a huge problem with these batteries. 18 people died last year in New York in battery-related fires.
I'm gonna pause that there. How many people you think have died of just like I don't know, pedestrians crossing the street where they shouldn't be in New York City, or train accidents? You know, somebody slips off the deck and falls in front of a train. More than 18 people, I bet you. It's a fear tactic. You always got to dig many layers deep on these stories. I will say, I've already watched this video, and I will say this is the most informative news broadcast on the topic. They actually make good sense throughout this video. I'm going to let you hear it. I'll critique it here and there, give you guys a little bit more context based around what they're saying.
We're not New York City. We don't have the density of that city, but the fire marshal here says he wants to get ahead of the situation before it becomes a problem. Electric bikes and e-scooters continue to be a part of San Francisco's attempt to improve urban mobility. Even city government is
Pausing only for one reason. Just bear with me. That is a Segway GT2. I used to have it. That thing is a monster. Really heavy, really fast. When you're riding a scooter like this, cross all the way across the road. Don't do this diagonal thing. You'll get your front wheel stuck in one of those tracks and you'll just eat it. Second, that's not made for two individuals. One of them's at least smart, has a helmet on, but this thing is a beast.
A pilot program where food delivery workers are using e-bikes instead of cars in an attempt to reduce emissions and traffic congestion. But with more of them on our streets, it was inevitable that new rules for how they are stored and charged would follow.
I'm going to pause that again. More people aren't using them to reduce their emissions, right? Nobody cares. We live in such a society right now where nobody cares about what they're contributing to when it comes to emissions. They won't worry about how much more money can I put in my pocket, right? I can't afford this car payment, this car insurance, to register this car every 2 years, to pay to park this car. All those things add up. So your bottom line, if you're a delivery driver like that, you're only making your tips on top of whatever you're driving around, maybe $25 an hour. That's what it's about. Let's just be real. At the end of the day, people that are picking up these bikes, whether Uber Eats or any one of those servers, they're doing it to create more money in their pocket. It's a one-time purchase of $500 to $1,000. I've actually got some link below if you want to check them out. They're under $1,000 UL certified bikes. And I think they're pretty fantastic if you're looking for an alternate means of transportation. You can't afford a car and maybe your job is only 20 miles away. It's definitely the way to do it. I just got to say that because none of these people, like I know a lot of people that have electric cars. They're not doing it because, oh man, I want to save the environment. I have an electric car. I don't do it to save the environment. I do it because the 5-year term of cost of ownership is way cheaper than me having my last car. But I digress. Let's get into the rest of the story.
Why? We sat down with San Francisco's fire marshal who showed us pictures of fires started by faulty batteries causing extensive property damage. Since 2017, the number of fires associated with a lithium-ion battery has increased every year with a high of 58 in 2022. The data for 2023 is still being compiled. During that 6-year period, one person was killed, 8 others were injured. The fire marshal says fires related to overheated lithium batteries are a serious problem.
We can't put those out. They generate their own oxygen. We could put water on it to cool it and to keep other things from burning around it. But ideally is we have to wait till that fire burns out.
In March, a new set of standards for charging and storing batteries used to power mobility devices will go into effect. Anyone living in a multi-unit building will now be limited to 4 lithium-powered mobility devices per household.
So that's interesting. So you could do 4 devices, 4 different bikes. But what if you have multiple batteries? How are they cracking down on this? See, in New York City, the FDNY's task forces, they're able to just do knocking. They can knock on your door and say, hey, we got a call on 311 saying that you guys have multiple e-bikes here. We'd like to see the certification when it comes to the battery. Most people will be scared. They'll be like, okay, here you go. Come into my house. Other people like me would be like, go get a warrant. I don't think you have a real case. Go get a warrant. And at the end of the day, who's to say these people here out in San Francisco can't just have maybe 2 electric mobility devices, right? The bikes, the scooters, and not have like multiple battery packs. Because people do. When you go on long rides, when we do ride outs, we'll take multiple battery packs with us. Some of the bikes will fit them with multiple batteries on there. So all you have to do is flick a switch. Okay, that one's dead. Boom, right into the next one. Oh man, it's a slippery slope, right? I mean, it's like they're trying to create people to care about things that really don't matter. Like this doesn't matter. They just said there they had one death related to this out of all the fires. And they want to push through legislation to make it harder for people to possibly get an electric bike. They're making you register the electric bikes. Now, there are brands out there, and you should get a bike that is UL certified, but they're going to pass that cost on to you eventually. To go through the certification process, these brands have to pay a fee to get into this and then be approved, crossing their fingers, to be able to do that. You also want to use a UL certified battery with the proper charger, which we'll talk about here momentarily. But before they get into the next part, I do want to show you what a UL certified stamp looks like if you don't know. You want to see this UL listed logo on your chargers, on your batteries. You would see something like this on your battery. It'd be more like holographic now. And it will say the date as well, letting you know when this thing was manufactured.
Must be parked when charging. Each one must be plugged into its own electrical outlet, not a power strip.
Pause it there one more time and we'll go through the rest. I have a power strip. I have a smart power strip, which it'll disconnect the power from the wall to the power strip to the bike. I'll link in the description below for you guys to be able to pick up. If you're charging multiple devices at once, this makes sense. Also, second thing I never really hear recommended, if you're on a ride and you just depleted your battery, don't just go straight plugging it in right away. Let the battery cool down. Let things get back down to its temperature it's supposed to be. It's not good to just deplete it out or ride really hard, to work 30 miles or whatever it might be, and then just plug it in right away. It's not good. That will create a fire, and it's actually pretty hard on a lot of these batteries, even if they have a good BMS system. It's kind of redundant. A BMS. So let's get into the rest.
Rule doesn't apply to single-family homes.
But the other part of our campaign is give yourself a chance to get out. So if you're charging it, don't charge it by the front door when you first pull it in.
The new fire code also states that refurbished and damaged batteries are not allowed. San Francisco Supervisor Aaron Peskin introduced the legislation.
Number one, they should be buying products that have been certified by Underwriter Laboratories, UL approved, that they should not be using different chargers other than the chargers that were made to go with those, that they should not be using extension cords during charging.
But repair shops like the New Wheel say they now face numerous challenges because of the new regulations.
Here in this warehouse we have mechanic stands, and each one of them is set up with an organized charging station, and typically our mechanics charge the bike while they're working on it, which is a highly safe context. They're standing there with the battery, and because of the new power strip rules, we will have to find another solution.
That will likely mean installing new power outlets for each and every battery that needs to be charged. The shop says they have never had any issues, and the vast majority of the bicycles they work on have UL certified batteries clearly marked. So here's how we know that
So
it's...
this is classified UL.
But the reality is that some of the batteries out there are not UL certified because not everyone can afford them. Remember the hoverboard?
I'm going to pause it there. We're not going to get too much further into this because it's just nonsense. I'll link it in the description below for you to be able to watch it on your own. But I do want to say that shops have a right to just turn away an e-bike. You know, if you're going to repair an e-bike and it doesn't have UL certification on the battery on there, or people can just, you know what they can do if they're going to get their bike repaired? Send the bike in, they hold the battery if it's not UL certified. Those can be two options for these bike shops. When it comes down to it, like, yeah, they're making it a lot harder out there. I want to hear your guys' point of view on this as well. When it comes to a UL certification and a bike company, they eventually will pass down these costs. I will link down in the description below a couple of my favorite, like I said, of e-bikes. They're ranging $1,000 or under that are UL certified, and some that are really high end, in my opinion, ranging between $1,000 and $1,500. I've reviewed a bunch of them here up on the channel. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on this topic in the comments section below. If you agree or disagree with me, I think it's always good that we engage with each other in any way, shape, or form. So with that being said, if you guys like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.